Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for being here today. I'm Trish Tiglietta with Paramount Pursuits, and today we're here to talk about fueling prosperity by providing essential business support and resources in your town. If you haven't joined us before, a little bit about Paramount. Marcos and I started Paramount Pursuits in 2014. We provide business consulting services, Main Street revitalization services. We're an economic development consulting firm that really wants to help businesses and communities thrive. Our clients, over 700 businesses have been served to date. We've assisted 8 main streets in revitalizing their commercial corridors, and we worked on 21 different multi-year projects launched throughout 2 states. Okay, some of the problems that we know you're facing. Why did we start this webinar series? Let me tell you why. We got to witness in performing all of that work I just mentioned, how difficult it can be for towns to thrive, right? For towns to revitalize their commercial corridors, to build strong communities where both their residents and their businesses are thriving. And these are some of the problems that we encountered when we were doing this work. The towns that we work with, they have limited funding. They lack some of the specialized skills and resources that they need in order to help revitalize the town. This is through no fault of their own. It's a lot of things that you have to know when you're working on revitalization efforts. Limited time and staffing can be a real problem that we see you guys facing. Poor collaboration, right? We see a lot of organizations working within the community, but they're operating oftentimes as silos. How do we pull together all of those stakeholders and help them work together towards and driving in the direction of revitalizing the town? And last but not least, community apathy, right? Resistance to change. It's been this way, it's always going to be this way. Don't change it. Or maybe there's a pride in your community and they don't want change. They like it just the way it is because it's what they're used to. So these are some of the problems that we keep in mind as we are working through these webinars and finding solutions for you. So far, we are on our 4th strategy that we've covered. The series is 5 proven strategies to revitalize your town and support small businesses. This week, we're talking about providing those businesses the support and resources that they need. I encourage you, if you haven't already, go back and take a look at some of our past webinars to get you caught up if you've missed some of them. Next question here is why? Why is it even important that we support these small businesses? I know what you guys are thinking, going back to the problems page, right? I have limited time. I've got a lot of things to do. I don't have much money to do it. And you want me to support the small businesses. Here's why. Number one reason, it's vital to your town that these businesses get the support that they need. And number two, they need the support. You're going to learn some things today that you may not know. And we only know because we have been working with so many businesses. But we'll get to that in just a second. Number one, let's go dive in a little bit deeper and talk about why these businesses need the support that we're asking you to give them. 2 out of every 3 jobs are created by small businesses. So your Main Street is what is employing people. It's what is, contributing to the tax revenue. Local spending. These business owners shop local, right? The business owners and their employees, they're going out to lunch during the day. They're shopping at the grocery store before they head home. They're buying supplies there. They're hiring other workers there. If I look at what our business hires, we have landscaper. We have anytime we need electrical work done or plumbing on our building. If you have window washers, we're buying furniture. We're doing printing. Anything, all of those things, we try to shop as local as we can to support the other businesses. And that's what your business owners are doing in your town. As I mentioned, tax revenue. It's interesting. In the town that we operate in Ambridge, Pennsylvania, they actually have a business privilege tax. It's 1%, and that's on gross, not net. So your businesses are supporting your tax base there as well. And a lot of times, those business owners also reside in the towns that they operate in. So they personally are supporting too via, employment taxes potentially and property taxes for homes and for their businesses. Next up, retention, right? If you support your businesses, you're going to retain them. How much time are you spending on vacancy reduction? You have vacant buildings in town. It's a lot of work. It is a heavy lift to go out and find new businesses to come into your town. So by supporting your existing businesses, you're retaining them. The other thing you're doing is you're retaining residents. Residents stay in their communities because they have a contentedness, right? They have the things that they need there. They have their favorite bakery, maybe coffee shop. Their dermatologist is there. Maybe they have kids and their pediatricians there, and their dance classes are there, or their karate classes are there. Everything is in their community, so they're going to stay there. They've built roots and they want to stay in their community. The other thing is that connectedness, right? Local businesses often provide a sense of place. They serve as social hubs. I'll give you an example. Marcos and I mentioned he's my husband. We started this company together. So he's my husband and business partner. So a lot of times we travel together. The really cool thing is when we come home, we can't wait to support the businesses. We have this little bar near us that also serves great wings. We land, we go straight down there, grab a beer and some wings, see the local friends that we have there. And it's just great to have that sense of home and connectedness right in your community. We drop by the coffee shop, pick up coffee, get some beans so we could have it home during the week. It's you have a sense of place. And it really provides that connectedness in the community. So that's the other reason that we want to make sure that we're supporting these small businesses. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to, your first tip that you're going to take away is know your businesses and understand their needs, right? Each business, each industry has their own unique set. If you look at the pictures on here, you have a restaurant, right? They care about parking, maybe noise ordinance. If we're going to do live music, they want to know if they can have outdoor seating. Those are the things that are going to be really important to them. Retail, they may need large truck deliveries, right? Maybe they need to know, they need access to the back of a building to get deliveries. They care about parking, absolutely. They may care about unique signage, right? Can they put the flashy signs out front? What are their needs and how do you support them? Manufacturing, this is a really interesting one in our town. Without strategy, sometimes weird things happen and they impact the community for a long time. I'm assuming at some point when there was just we need whatever businesses we could get, they approved for a manufacturing company that bottles water to come into our main street. And when I say main street, I mean on the main street. So anytime a big truck has to back in, and it's several times throughout the day, they have to stop traffic on the main street to have the big trucks back into this manufacturing plant. As you can imagine, this is annoying to the neighbors. There's parking issues. They have employees. We got to figure out where to get them parked. The traffic jams that the stopping of the trucks does, the impact that has is big. So the manufacturing, they have unique needs. And then your service-based businesses, they need accessibility. If they're serving older adults or people who maybe are coming in wheelchairs, they're concerned about accessibility, but also parking, and maybe even more so ADA parking, so handicap accessible parking. All of these businesses have unique needs, and not listed is, think of the other organizations. While not a business, churches provide great benefit to the community, but they also have their own set of challenges, right? Churches, do they need additional security because of, political situations or whatnot? So tourism-based businesses, if you have Airbnbs or hotels or bed and breakfast, like they all have unique needs. So I want you to know that this is no easy feat when we're asking you to know your businesses, but also understand what their needs are. And how do you do that, right? How do you get that sense of understanding truly what the needs of the businesses are? You got to get to know them, right? Conduct surveys, ask them, what is it? What are your needs? What would you like to see in the community? How can we better support you? Host business roundtables. This sounds complex. It's not. Organize with the coffee shop that you have in town or library or whoever. Donuts bring amazing things, right? If you gather your business owners, put some donuts and coffee out and start having the conversations, you'll be amazed at what you will find out. To be honest, this is how we figured out how to keep improving our program. We gathered a bunch of our business owners together and said, what support do you need? And we were providing at the time one-on-one mentorship. And what we learned from these business owners, we asked a simple question. It was, what is the toughest thing you're facing right now in your business? Marcos and I, we were thinking sales. I don't like doing sales. I hate networking. I don't like talking to people I don't know. Social media, it's changing every day. Access to funding, right? We thought those would be the main challenges. Number one challenge we got when we actually sat down with our business owners and did a roundtable: loneliness. So many of these entrepreneurs were operating by themselves. They didn't know other entrepreneurs. They didn't really connect with other entrepreneurs because they were so busy in their own business and growing it. And that was an easy fix for us. We added a component to our program that got the entrepreneurs together once a month, provided education, having different speakers come, but also providing them a connectedness so they didn't feel as lonely in their business journey. So those roundtables can really make a difference. One-on-one interviews. I mean, this is an amazing opportunity for you. Go visit your businesses. And what I mean by that is stop in. Hey, how's it going? Is there anything we could help with? Do you have any needs? The only time traditionally that you see business owners, if you're working in local government, is when they're in trouble, right? They got a code violation, taxes are due, there's a permit needed, annual inspection needed, whatever that is. The only time they see you is when they're in trouble or like it's a duty or a requirement. Let's change that narrative. Stop in and just have a conversation with them. Go ask them how you could support them. This will shift your culture and it will change reputation. How many of you constantly hear our town, insert name, doesn't support small businesses? That's how they feel, because when they come in, they only get the negative side. Well, you didn't do this right, or you're not getting your permit because you didn't do this, or your sign's too big, you have to change it. You're trying to start a business where it's not zoned for. So they get the negative. Let's shift that culture and change it to a culture of supportedness. So I highly encourage you to do those one-on-ones. Interview sounds like a strong word, but it's one-on-one conversations at the end of the day. Create a business advisory board. This is a great way for businesses to feel like they have a voice in your town. Again, shifting that culture and the reputation of your town. And last but not least, use data to identify trends. Really perfect timing. Yesterday, I sat in a meeting where they talked about the shift in population in Pennsylvania and what that looks like. We're getting to the point where we have more older people than younger people. And what's interesting about that is it is going to shift the needs of your community, and it's going to shift the needs of your businesses, the services that they can and need to provide in the community. So really helping them understand the data in regards to their business. I'm going to share something with you today that you really may not know. And that is the number one biggest secret is Our team estimates that about 90%, 98% of business owners do not fully know how to run their business. This sounds shocking, right? If you look at your main street, you could potentially say, no, this business, washer repair business and sales businesses, they've been in business for 50 years. Surely they know what they're doing. Not necessarily. What we find is our business owners typically know their industry. They know what they're doing as far as the industry goes. But here's the problem, they also have so many other things that they have to know. Man, they have to know business law. They have to know labor laws. They have to know disability laws to make sure they're compliant with ADA, accounting principles, tax law, tax strategy. Don't forget, tax law is changing all the time. Tax strategy, marketing, branding, networking, ever changing social media algorithms. For any of you on the call, if you actually are responsible for doing social media for your town, God bless you, because those algorithms are constantly changing. One minute, everything's going great. Next minute, no one's seeing what you're putting out there. These businesses owners also need to know management and leadership skills so they can run a strong business and have good employees that know what they're doing. They need to know how to recruit employees, and imagine how much that's changed since COVID hit, right? They need to know succession planning. That business that's been there for 50 years, guess what? Someone's going to want to retire at some point. Who's taking over? And are they trained to keep the business surviving and thriving? And then they need to know zoning and permitting, which you want them to know, and it's really important for them. So at the end of the day, over 80% of new entrepreneurs in the United States have had no formal business training. So ask yourself, how in the world can they know all of those things and stay on top of all of those things where they're still trying to sell or do their thing? I'll be honest, it's really hard. And that's why your support is so important to them. I can't stress enough how important it is for you to be there and support them. Your efforts will pay off in the fact that you won't have to keep revisiting to attract new business. So tip number 2, create a supportive ecosystem for entrepreneurs and small business owners. How do you do that? Here's some examples. Establish a business resource center, right? Make it easy for them to get access to the things that they need. All of the resources in one place. This could be online. This could be in person. Your job is to make it easy for them to get started to grow in your community. Offer business mentorship. Again, they don't know what they're doing. They need the support to get there. 70% of small businesses that receive mentoring survive for 5 years or more, compared to 30% for those that do not receive it. You are increasing their odds of long-term success by making sure they have access to business mentorship. Business mentor is going to train them and guide them to success. Provide or attract a co-working space. This sounds like a big, hairy project, right? Not necessarily. One thing that you could do is start a gathering of local businesses. Pop-up co-working. Could be at the library, could be at the coffee shop. If it's at the coffee shop, they'll love it because all of a sudden they could have 15, 20 new businesses coming in to support them once a month. So maybe make sure that they have this. You can nurture relationships and collaboration by gathering them there and getting them out of their house. During COVID, Marcos and I started working together in the same household, which sounds great because we, don't have to leave the house some days. But guess what? It also is a challenge if we're traveling. If we are in a hotel room, one of us has to leave so that the other one could have meetings. So providing that co-working space, if I knew I could go out into my community that I'm visiting or the community I live in and get out of the house occasionally, that would be amazing. So it's definitely a gift to your home-based businesses too, not just your Main Street businesses. Offer networking opportunities. Maybe you could host this at a different business each month. Sure, if you put a sign-up sheet, businesses would love the opportunity to showcase their location and their work and what they do. Organize shop local campaigns. The biggest one we hear of is Small Business Saturday, which is in November, like the weekend of Thanksgiving. But you could do this on your own and do, in person, monthly sip and shop. Or the other thing that you could do is do it online and do a week of shop local where you promote different businesses that they could support online or in person. So again, you could start this small and scale it. Hire small businesses. This sounds so simple, but many towns are not doing this. What are the services that you hire for that you could potentially hire in town? Is it printing? Is it someone local who could has a cleaning company that could come in and clean your offices? Is it someone local who does window shopping? It doesn't just have to be hiring for your government or your organization. It can also be making sure that the businesses are hiring local. If you know you need a window washer to come in once a month to make sure your town's looking great, your main street's looking great, find a window washer in town and promote him to all of the businesses. Easy ways that you could start the habit of supporting your small businesses. Tip number 3, we're going to talk about practical ways for you to provide training, mentorship, and access to funding opportunities. Don't panic. I know it sounds big, but we're going to get you there. Okay. Offer workshops and seminars. Cover the topics. You heard me rattle off the list of things that business owners have to know in order to operate. Cover the topics like marketing, finance. When tax laws come out at the beginning of the year, have an accountant in your community come in and talk about what new tax laws are going to affect the businesses. If you have an organization that employs a lot of people, they probably have a human resources person that could come and talk about human resources best practices, what you need to know before you hire. Get the community engaged so that they're participating in this as well. You may have a resident that is an HR person for a large corporation outside of your town. Recruit them, have them come in and talk about it. Business planning, talk about that. You guys have banks in your town likely. If you don't, you have them in nearby towns. Get them involved. Talk about, business credit, how to prepare for getting funding. Those are all really good topics that your business owners need to know to thrive. Establish a mentorship program. Again, talking about the success rate of those businesses who receive mentorship is much higher than those that don't. Connect businesses to funding sources. This is a great way for you to help them stabilize and grow. One good tip here is in Pennsylvania, our state representatives will often send out an email with grant opportunities provided by the state. That's a great thing to make sure that is getting into the hands of your business owners. Your small business development centers nearby probably have a similar list. It'd be great for you to aggregate that information and make sure it's getting shared, or just forward the email to your business owners. Partner with local education organizations to offer continuing education and training programs. We have a Tech to Elevate, which is a nonprofit that provides digital skills. They do seminars on, social media, getting your business on Google Business, but getting your Google Business profile set up. They do a lot of different educational programs for our small businesses to make sure that they're successful as well. Tip number 4, how do we streamline processes to make them easier for our business owners? Okay. Simplify that permitting process, right? Tips for streamlining regulations and creating a business-friendly environment. Let's go back to that culture that we talked about a little bit ago. Simplify that permitting process. Make it as easy as possible. I know you have laws you have to follow, but how do you make it easier for them? Review and revise zoning ordinances. We've seen some crazy things regarding zoning and ordinances in our work with these small towns. Review them. Is there a way that you can make sure that they're a little bit more business friendly while still protecting the fabric of your community? Create a one-stop shop for business services. This goes back to that business resource center we just talked about. How do you consolidate business resources into a single location? Offer online resources and applications. Having a business owner stop work in the middle of the day to come down and get a sign permit to update their sign is not conducive to a friendly business environment. Make it easy for them to get information. Put your these applications and information all online if possible. Even if they have to mail it, make the downloadable copy online so they can fill it, make it fillable if possible, and send it off to you. And last but not least on this page, establish a business liaison. You need that friendly face who is going to be the contact within your local government to make sure businesses are getting the help they need. Probably one of the wildest stories that I heard or had happen was when I was working with a community and I had someone who wanted to invest a lot of money in affordable housing and on the main street. So Main Street commercial on the first floor, housing above. I took the person to the borough manager who was fantastic at getting grants and the more technical side of operating the city. But the problem was he didn't have the people skills needed to be the face of the city. And when I took this person in there, he literally looked at the guy and said, I'm not sure why you're here or what you want from me. And the guy was just completely turned off. So we want to make sure that we do have that friendly face in working with our community. One thing I want you to know is, how do you set your town apart? This is a competition. When businesses are looking at expanding or going to a new location, launching in a new location, it's a competition. They're looking at multiple areas. What are the fees? What is the process? Are they business friendly? I encourage you to focus on being that business friendly environment. Something as simple as, I have watched grand openings happen where there was not one government official or employee at the grand opening of a business. What message does that send? Certainly not one of support. So that's an easy way for you to make sure that your town is engaged. Okay. Next, we're going to go on to tip 5. Funding incentive programs that attract and retain businesses. If at all possible, create a grant program or microloan program. Maybe you can find money from a foundation, from a bank, wherever that is, and see if you could get a program. This doesn't have to be, here's $100,000 to redo your building. It could be, we're going to offer $500 towards a grant for getting new signage for your business. It doesn't have to be this big, crazy thing, but try to put something out there. Work on a program that will make a difference to your business owners. Partner with a bank or community development financial institution to offer loan programs. If you're not ready for this just yet, like I said, you can find partners who could work with you. The other things that you could do is share those lists, right? Share the state reps grant list. Bankers often have programs for small businesses. Share those programs with your businesses in your community. Share them in your resource center as well. I've shared a lot of information today, and your question may be, where do we start? Well, let me tell you where you start. It is a lot of information, but I am going to drop in the chat information on your next steps. Book a call with Marcos. He's our co-founder at Paramount Pursuit. He will be able to get you started in the right direction here. And that is, start with making a plan, right? He will be able to tell you where to start with your community, talk to you about designing something that's very specifically meets the needs of your community, and tips on ways to pay for it. How to fund our programs, right? He'll be able to share information with you on how to do that. American Rescue Plan funds, I know the deadline to allocate has passed, but sometimes you will find some pots of money that you may be able to pull from. Community Development Block Grant Program can often fund our programs. Support from a local or national foundation, corporate partners, and then the Community Reinvestment Act, which you could get support from local, regional, or national banks. and Marcos will be able to share. As I mentioned, I dropped his um, information in the chat on how to book an appointment with him. So let's take what we learned today and put that in action. What are your next steps? Book a call with Marcos to learn how we can help. Collect email addresses and contact information for your business owners. So often we find that small towns with low budgets, little capacity as far as staffing goes, they don't have a comprehensive list of their business owners. This is a great way for you to stay connected with them and share information with them. Identify the needs of your businesses. What help do they need and how can you support them? And then take that information and you're going to build a strategy to support them. This will make sure that you have a cohesive plan and a way to implement and pay for that plan. And the most important thing I could stress to get started on that plan is establishing that business resource center. Doesn't have to be a big, hairy thing. Could just be, hey, here's a book that we have in our office that has a bunch of resources, and then put it online. Next month, we're going to be right back here. We're going to be sharing some great topics with you next month on Stronger Together, building a building powerful partnerships for town revitalization. And I am going to share with you the link for joining us next month. And I would hope to see you guys. And if you haven't already, check into our YouTube channel and our webpage, and you'll be able to find the webinars from the previous months. I am dropping in the chat now the link for you to go ahead and register to attend our April webinar. Guys, I just wanted to thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We love the work that you guys are all doing in your community to help revitalize and build strong communities. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next month.